Let me clear the air right from the start. I love learning and continued education. This conversation we're about to have today is not dismissing any of that. Instead, it's about using this need to learn more as a way to not take action towards your goals and desires while still giving yourself that sense that you're doing something, that you're being productive, which of course allows you to procrastinate. Procrasti-learning is running rampant in the wellness and coaching space. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about how you can move from learning to doing and make the business you really want a reality. Let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Shawn Mynar, and this is Unstuck Entrepreneur. I'm a former nutritionist who turned a struggling, stressful nutrition practice into a thriving, freedom-filled online business where I work from home in my sweatpants while reaching and helping thousands of people all at the same time. Now I'm obsessed with showing other heart-centered coaches, practitioners, and solopreneurs how to build a business and life they love. Consider this podcast your safe space to learn both the inner work and practical strategies required to build the impactful, profitable business of your dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. That's right, hustle culture, not welcome here. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast. I'm Shawn, your host on each and every episode. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you all so very much. Today, we're talking about Procrasti-learning, which I cannot take credit for. I wish I made up this word because it's a great word. But this came from Denise Duffield Thomas and her book, Chillpreneur, which I believe has been retitled to Chill and Prosper. Either way, great book. I definitely recommend it. I think you will enjoy it. And she was the one that kind of came up with this word, Procrasti-learner. And I thought that it was perfect. And I know so many Procrasti-learners, and I myself at some point have been a Procrasti-learner as well. So we're going to talk specifically about that type of procrastination today. And I got to start by making it very, very clear that I am all for continued education and learning. I myself love learning. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly in some sort of course or something. I got something going on. And I've said from like a very young age that I wish there was a career option where you could just get paid to be a forever student and go to school until you retire. Like if you could just be a constant learner, that would be for me. I would want that career, which I kind of in some way have made for myself in my business, which is great. So yes, I'm a huge nerd and I love learning, and I actually am about to embark on a new giant learning opportunity here in a few weeks, which I'll share more about in coming episodes. So I am one of you. If you are someone who likes to learn, we are all in this together. So this is not remotely a dig on learning or continuing your education or becoming more and more and more certified in your area of expertise. That's not this. Instead, what we're talking about today is using that quote unquote need to learn as a substitute for taking action, as essentially an excuse, if I may use that word, to not take action, to not put yourself out there, to not do what you need to do to build this business that you want to build. That is what really puts you in the category of being a Procrasti-learner, using learning to procrastinate. We talk about procrastination on this show often because it is one of those main tricks that our egos play on us to keep us from building and growing the business that you want. And side note, if you feel like you are a procrastinator, which if you're listening to this episode, you might be, then go back to episode 159 and listen to that one too. It's called Turn Procrastination into Inspired Action. That kind of goes along with this episode today. So they go hand in hand. But procrastination comes in many forms. So in some people, it can look like busyness, kind of like doing all this kind of behind the scenes busy work, whether it be in like working on your business or just doing life stuff that makes it feel or seem like you're busy instead of doing the things that actually move the needle. It can be like tinkering on your business with stuff like your website and creating business cards and all these things that, need to be done at some point, but are they really moving the needle, or is that a way of procrastination? Or you're doing stuff like creating a bazillion freebies that you never actually talk about or put out into the world. You scroll social media instead of actually posting on social media. You stare at a blinking cursor to write a blog that never actually comes to be because all you see is that blinking cursor. These are all forms of procrastination, but today we're going to zoom in even further and talk about one very specific way that we procrastinate, which really is just our ego's way of trying to keep you safe and in your comfort zone. And that is by making it feel like we absolutely need to learn more before you take action. So you might be thinking, Shawn, do we really need an entire podcast episode about this? And my response is, yes, we do. Because friends, this Procrasti-learning situation is running rampant, especially in the space where most of you are finding yourselves at right now. And that is that you are becoming or have become a coach or practitioner by way of getting training in the area that you want to work in. And yes, that is necessary learning, and it is understandable that you wouldn't be like seeing clients before you've completed your training or anything like that. That is not what I would consider Procrasti-learning if you are working to become certified or get your credentials or anything like that. So this is also not what this conversation is about. I'm all for getting the training you need to do what you do. But then here you are with this training under your belt, you're ready to do your thing, you're ready to help people, and you start taking a few clients and getting things going. And all this time, you have your ego who's in your head, this little chatterbox in your head saying things like, you don't know enough to help these people. What if you get a client and you can't help them? Really, if you just had one more certification, then you'd feel legit. The only reason you're not feeling confident is because you need more training. And then once you have all this training, then you'll be ready to show up on social media and start that podcast and create your own program and do all these things. All you need is more education, more learning, and then you'll feel XYZ. So you're having this internal battle with your ego voice, as we always do all day long. But then on top of that, you're now in this place where you're also becoming a business owner. And that requires a whole world of new things to learn and way more opportunity, of course, for your ego to chime in. And now on top of everything it's already been saying, you also have this mental chatter that's saying, what if your business fails? You're not smart enough to be an entrepreneur or to run a business. What if you set your business up wrong and then you pay your taxes wrong and then the IRS comes after you and you end up in jail? Or you don't know enough yet to have a podcast. No one would listen to you. Or what's the point of creating content right now? You don't know what you're talking about. So then we have these kinds of voices, which very much sound like imposter syndrome, which we talk about a lot here on the show as well. And so for most of you listening, you do have a lot of these voices going on right now, especially in this period of becoming a coach, becoming a practitioner, and also becoming a business owner. And when you're in this season of becoming, whether it's one or the other or both, then what comes with that? Usually fear. Of course, it's something you've never done before. You're entering new territory. And anytime that is the case for any of us as humans, we have this sense of fear. We have a fear of failure, a fear of success, fear of visibility, fear of being a fraud, fear of being a disappointment, fear of being judged, fear of overwhelming yourself, fear of getting and being uncomfortable. Of course, your ego then senses this fear and goes into overdrive to keep you from ever having to experience any of those things. Remember, your ego, as much as sometimes it gets us into a place where we don't want to be, the whole goal is to keep you safe. The whole goal of that mental chatter, of that voice in your head that's really keeping you from doing what you actually want to be doing in a lot of cases, it's all in an effort to keep you safe. And when you feel these experiences of fear, that is when the ego triggers and gets into this place of, nope, let's just do something else so that we don't have to experience that. Whether it's actually going to happen or not, let's just stay where it's safe and not go there. So logic comes to the rescue and says, hey, well then if you just learn more about XYZ, then you'll be able to avoid those fears. And you easily go along with that plan because, even if you hated school and you don't really like to learn that much, it still feels productive. So it feels like a good use of your time and not like what it actually is, which is procrastination. So it's a lot easier to accept this idea of procrasti-learning for a lot of people because on the surface, it looks like and acts like and feels like being productive and working towards your dreams and goals and plans. But in reality, it's actually hindering you from getting there because you're doing that instead of that action that moves the needle. And that's really where the difference comes in. The key sign that you are procrasti-learning is that you are using learning as a substitute for taking action. So you're reading books, you're signing up for courses, you're taking classes, you're getting additional certifications, all that learning stuff, instead of things like launching your paid offer, increasing your visibility, implementing your marketing plan, starting and staying consistent in your content creation. Those kinds of things that move the needle in your business. It is not you are learning, so you're reading the books and you're taking the courses and getting additional certifications in addition to all these things, or while also working on these things in your business. So getting more visible, starting that podcast, creating your paid offer, those kinds of things. That is where the difference comes in because as I said, I'm constantly learning. I think I have been in some sort of course or program since the day I started my business pretty consistently, but I'm also still building my business. I'm not doing it instead of or in place of. I am learning and taking action at the same time. And this even goes back to when I was getting certified to be a nutritionist through the NTA. While I was getting certified, I was also writing blog posts about what I had learned, what I was learning. It was kind of a way for me to retain the information I was learning, was to write about it. And so I just decided to write it as a blog post and put it up on my website. And as I've mentioned before, those blog posts are still some of the most popular blog posts on my website today. And this was 7 years ago, I think, maybe now almost 8 years ago. So I did that while still going through the learning process and getting certified. I also started the Nourished podcast with my friend Meg Dahl when I was still a few months away from being officially certified as a nutritionist. So while I wasn't taking clients before I was certified, which I would never do, I was still working on building my business, building my audience, sharing what I was learning and what I now knew, and sharing my own experiences too. And that was really powerful so that when I was ready to start taking clients, I had people who wanted to work with me. And so you can still be doing this stuff if you are still in this place where you're getting certified and not ready to take clients yet. There's still plenty that you can do to start building momentum in your business. Okay, so that is what Procrasti-Learning really means or looks like. So then on the other hand, what is a good form of learning as a business owner? And this we will call active learning, which is learning something. And as a business owner and as a coach or practitioner, I think we all can agree there is always something new to learn. It is never ending. But you learn something and then immediately apply it to your business or with your clients. That is what we're looking for. We're looking for learning and taking action, learning and taking action. And I mentioned this learning opportunity, big situation I'm getting myself into here in a few weeks. In that scenario, I am going to be learning and then immediately applying that to my business. Like literally one module, go through it, take what I learn, apply it into my business. Second module, learn, apply, learn, apply. And this is also what I do in all of my programs too for you guys. Like Signature Program Lab, Launch List, Accelerator, they are action-based programs. So you watch a lesson, you use the tools and resources that I have for you, and you immediately go do it in your business with the intent and really the knowing that it is actively moving you forward in your business. We are moving the needle. That is my whole goal in how I help you. So if you've been caught in this Procrasti-Learning cycle, then welcome to the club. I see you, I feel you. I think we probably have all been there a time or two, and that is okay. But then also, how can we transition into an active learning cycle and hopefully stay there? As you may have guessed, this is really primarily mindset work, because the reason that you are procrastinating and the reason that you're using learning to procrastinate is based on a story you're telling yourself, a limiting belief you have that your ego has grabbed onto and started really chattering about over and over and over with you and making up all these excuses and reasons that you can't move forward. You can't get out of your comfort zone. So the goal then really is to quiet that chatter so that you can move forward, so that you can become an active learner where you're learning and doing, not learning instead of doing. So first step, what layers are underneath that procrastination? There is a fear there, at least one, probably a lot of fears underneath, and your goal is to remove those layers so that you can really get to the heart of the matter. What is your ego saying that's keeping you from taking action, that's keeping you in this place of procrastination? Of course, as I always say, building awareness around it and bringing it to the surface is absolutely critical, because it is super easy for us to just believe the mental chatter, that really loud voice in our heads, and never give it a second thought. But once you kind of turn the table and put awareness onto that voice, that chatter that's going on, and see what it's really saying, and then get curious about why it's saying that, why is it keeping you from taking action, then there comes this level of honesty about your fears, about what you're really scared of or worried will happen. And with that comes this whole new level of understanding that actually makes you able to do something about it. It's like you have to bring attention to it and awareness to it in order to do something about it. So that's the first step. Just get curious. And as I always say, I think writing about this, writing it out is super helpful. So if you're open to it, grab a journal, grab a few pieces of paper, and just write out, like, where is this procrastination coming from? What fears come up when you think about taking action? And get that out. Next, what would you do if you didn't have that fear? So if the fear of being visible, if the fear of failure didn't exist for you, what would you do? How would you act? What would it look like if you were taking action without fear? I want you to create an entire scenario for yourself. Again, this is where writing it out and being able to visualize it as you write it out really helps. How does it feel when you're not procrastinating? So as you create this scenario where you don't have these fears and you can just go do whatever you want, you don't have to worry, you know it's going to be a success, you know everything is going to work out in your favor. So you have this whole scenario and hopefully you're visualizing it at this point, whether you're writing it out or just thinking about it, doesn't matter. But then once you're there, how does it feel to not procrastinate? How does it feel to make progress and to take action and to get the ball rolling and to see those results in your business? Get to the point where you can feel that. Now, the next step is to take that scenario where you have visualized yourself without any fear, going after what you want, and chunk that into real action steps that you can take. So you having this vision of you going after your dreams without hesitation, without procrastination, without fear is not only now possible, it's probable. You've made it a probable reality for yourself. So now that you know it's there, what can you do to get yourself there without reigniting that sense of fear, which happens by taking it step by step, creating those baby steps, and then committing to doing them, creating a timeline to do those baby steps. So very little doing happens without some sort of timeline, a commitment, an organizational plan, a calendar, something that helps you stay organized and on track and committed to making it happen. So chunk those big action steps you saw yourself taking when you weren't afraid, chunk them up into doable baby steps that you know you can take and still feel good. So one at a time. We're not focusing on the entire thing anymore. We're just focusing on those little steps, that one next step, and then create a timeline to help you get through those. Now, as you do those steps and you're going through and you're doing them and you're checking off the boxes, you're making progress, I want you to stay in that feeling that you had when you visualized yourself not procrastinating. I mean, that could have been a sense of pride, of accomplishment. You could have felt joy. You could have felt determined or excited, all of the above. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Stay in that feeling as you tick off the boxes of these little baby steps you're doing. And if you notice that fear creeping in, that ego voice getting louder and starting to chatter again, acknowledge it for what it is, which is just a voice in your head that you get to decide whether you listen to or not, and continue to stay active. Go back to those baby steps. Go back to that visual of you taking action, feeling good about taking action. Go back to that place and move from there. That is how you can stay in this place of action instead of staying stalled. Now, let's talk specifically as it relates to learning. Since we're talking about Procrasti-Learning today, yes, there are going to be all kinds of learning opportunities in your lifetime, for all of us, right? Of course. So the first thing I want you to do, understand if it's an active learning situation. So are you going to be learning and doing at the same time? Is it going to be this situation where you're learning so that you can do and you kind of are doing both in tandem? And then by the end of that learning situation, will you have actively done something that has gotten you significantly closer to your goals and dreams and desires? And if it is an active learning situation, cool. It's amazing. Go for it. If it's something you actually really want. Second, if it's not an active learning situation, say for instance, it's like a new certification or credential in your area of expertise. It's like in those situations, you're learning things that will potentially enhance what you can do for people or what you can offer people, but it's not actively moving the needle in your business right then and there, like not making you more money on the spot or getting you more visibility or getting you a bigger audience or anything like that. So obviously this continuing education is important and potentially a good opportunity, although these days I feel like there's a lot of weird certifications and credentials out there. So be aware of that, and that could be an episode in itself someday. But the process of getting that certification isn't actively moving your business. So then what action can you commit to while in this place of learning? And I understand it may feel overwhelming, like I can't get both this certification and work on my business. And that's understandable too. What's more important? Do you need this certification in order to have a business or build a business or get clients? Or is it a situation where, once you have your business going a little more established and you have these things running on autopilot in the background because you've taken the time to set them all up, then you have the time to get this extra credential and your business is also growing at the same time. So there's that to think about as well. But if you're in this learning situation where what you're learning isn't actively being applied to build your business immediately, then what can you do to take action while you're learning? Maybe you commit to creating and growing a podcast while you learn and putting out weekly episodes. Maybe you'll take 5 clients a month while you're learning. Maybe you'll build out your program while you're learning so you can launch it as soon as you're done. There is a place to do both and. And as I mentioned in my scenario, it actually helped me solidify what I was learning to create content around what I was learning as I went. So maybe that's something that you can consider doing as well. But in any case, this way you're not subconsciously using your learning opportunity as a way to not take action. If you commit to doing that learning while also doing something in your business. And of course, making sure that something is valuable and needle moving and getting you 1 step or 20 steps closer to your goals and desires and dreams. That's the whole purpose. I just don't want you to procrastinate on your dreams because you deserve to have those dreams be your reality. And that darn ego needs to get out of the way so that we can make it happen, right? And so if you are someone who finds yourself in this place of Procrasti-learning, I hope you now have some steps that you can take. I do want you to take that seriously and get out that journal and see what comes up for you. Super, super important, powerful work for really everyone. But especially if you find yourself in this place of procrastination, can really start opening more doors for you, doors of action for you, we'll say. So let me know if you give it a try. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram at Shawn Mynar. Send me a DM. I love hearing from you guys. And if you are someone who wants help taking action in your business by way of creating your signature program, building your email list, setting it up all on autopilot so that it creates more time and space for you, then that's all available for you inside the signature program bundle. It is an active learning situation. Hey, look at that. How amazing. You learn and do, learn and do, learn and do. That's how I create all of my courses and programs. We are coming up on a big, massive opportunity to get in on the signature program bundle like really, really soon, especially if you're listening to this when it airs. look for an email from me coming this week with a big announcement for you. And if you don't see it, check your junk folder because it might be in there. But we have really exciting news coming super soon, so be on the lookout for that if you do want to start creating your signature program, getting your email list all squared away and making sure the right people are on it, making sure you have a really good system in place to actually sell your program, all that good stuff. So that is coming to you soon. And until next time, take care. Hey friends, Shawn here. And if you're a coach or practitioner who's looking to help more people make more money and have more free time, then I have a special invitation for you that you don't want to miss. Right now, I'm hosting a free masterclass that will walk you through the process of adding a signature program to your business. As many of you know, the signature program business model has been my primary way of doing business since 2017. And after 7 programs of my own created and helping dozens of other wellness pros create theirs, I'm now sharing my exact process with you for free in this 1-hour masterclass. Now you might be thinking, Shawn, I'm just not ready to have my own program yet, or I don't have the time to build a program right now. Are you crazy? I totally get it. I get all of it, which is exactly why I created this training in the first place. I want you to see how possible this really is for you and how simple it can be when you have a tried and true proven system in place, no matter where you're at in your business today. So if you're like most coaches and practitioners who have a dream of creating a scalable offer in their business that helps the people they're meant to help without it being directly tied to your time and energy, then there's a seat with your name on it inside my Burnout Proof Your Business Masterclass. In just 1 hour, you're going to learn why adding a signature program will uncap your income potential forever and give you more time for your own life, health, family, and self-care. You'll learn exactly how my client sold out her first program, even with a small audience, because of this one super simple marketing hack that I am going to reveal. You'll learn the simplified, foolproof process that will take your knowledge and experience and turn it into your own program in just 6 weeks. And also how to implement an automated marketing system that will grow an engaged audience full of perfect match clients that can't wait to enroll in your program once it's ready, even if right now you're starting at 0. All you have to do is head to shawnmynar.com/burnoutproof and save your seat for this masterclass before it's gone. shawnmynar.com/burnoutproof. Can't wait to see you there. Hey friend, real quick before you go, don't forget to head over to my website and take the quiz to find out your solopreneur personality type. I've created a super fun, super informative 2-minute quiz that will show you which one of the 4 solopreneur personality types you fall into. Could it be the boss, the socialite, the visionary, or the supporter? Which one are you? Not only is it just fun to know more about yourself, especially as it relates to your business, but it's also really important information so you can be sure that you're building a business that works for you based on your energy, your personality, and your desires. Did you ever take those quizzes from the Cosmopolitan magazine back in the day? It's kind of like that, but with actual solid questions and real helpful tips and advice at the end. You can find the What's Your Solopreneur Personality Type quiz right on the homepage of my website at shawnmynar.com. Head there now to take the quiz, then let me know over on Instagram at unstuckentrepreneur what your type is. I'll see you over there.